Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back to KPIX 5 this morning. The time now, 6:29. I'm Melissa Kane.
Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely. Major freeway is shut down in Alameda County. 680 is closed in both directions at Sheridan Road near Sunol. It's because of construction. The closure is expected to last until 9 o'clock this morning. Now, detours are in place, but there is a chance of major traffic backups even early on an Easter Sunday morning. State investigators are looking into an incident on a San Francisco Muni train that left a passenger seriously injured. Here is security camera video of the April 12th mishap. A train door closed on a woman's hand. When the train began to move, it pulled the woman with it. She was quickly pulled down between the train and the platform.
I turn around and I saw this frail woman getting dragged along with this train. She's running, trying to keep up with it a little bit as she can. But the train's not slowing down. It's just moving along and she's just getting dragged along. I'm like, oh my God.
The woman was rushed to a hospital. She was eventually discharged, but details of her injuries were not made available. The California Public Utilities Commission is now investigating the doors on newer rail cars in the San Francisco Muni system. Here is part of a statement from San Francisco's Municipal Transportation Agency. While we meet all of the technical requirements and regulations, we will always take advantage of technology developments and continue to make improvements to the design. Now, meanwhile, the state continues to investigate another problem involving those newer Muni trains, a couple of broken shear pins used to connect the rail cars.
And this year's 420 Day, considered a holiday by marijuana enthusiasts, is now history. And we spoke to a couple of people who celebrated yesterday at Golden Gate Park in San Francisco.
I've always wanted to come to Hippie Hill on 420 because it's kind of like a bucket list of mine.
That's one of the biggest joints I've ever seen.
Well, thank you very much. I like smoking big if I can.
Yesterday's event was mellow, especially compared to last year when up to a dozen people overdosed on fentanyl-laced pot. Now this year, only one person needed medical treatment, but 7 people were arrested for crimes ranging from trespassing to theft. And many law enforcement officers spent part of their day looking for drivers under the influence of marijuana. Because while consuming marijuana is legal under California law, driving while high is still illegal.
You have marijuana in the car? Oh, sir. Are you around it tonight? The reason why I'm asking is because I smell it. Why do I smell it?
If you're using any kind of cannabis or cannabis products, don't get behind the wheel of a car.
Now, some experts suggest that pot users wait 8 hours after smoking before driving and wait 10 hours after ingesting edibles.
Law enforcement in Oakland and Alameda County are ready to make arrests and impound cars if necessary if so-called sideshows get out of hand this holiday weekend. It is considered the county's toughest crackdown on the activity, which involves illegal and dangerous vehicle stunts. Last Sunday, a bus and truck were set on fire as a large crowd looked on 42nd Avenue and International Boulevard. The Sheriff's Department says that extra deputies, along with Oakland Police and California Highway Patrol, will be watching for illegal driving.
You have to hit it early on, and then you have to keep them from congregating into a pack. You do that through enforcement and deterrence.
My streets are being destroyed, my vehicles are being destroyed, and the safety of my pedestrians and families and children are at risk.
Oakland City Council member Noah Gallo will testify in Sacramento next week. He supports a bill with tougher penalties, especially for repeat offenders. Starting tonight in San Francisco, workers will begin removing the supports that sit in the middle of Fremont Street under the Transbay Terminal. The brand new transit center has been shut down since September when workers discovered cracks in 2 beams. The work on Fremont will take 4 weeks. A 1-block stretch between Howard and Mission will be closed overnight, Sunday through Friday. The supports on the First Street will come down later. Repairs to the Transbay Center should be finished by June. There is still no date set for its reopening.
And the body of a swimmer who went missing last month in Pacifica has been found near San Francisco's Fort Funston. The body of 28-year-old Tyler Collins turned up on Friday, 9 miles from where he was last spotted at Rockaway Beach. Collins and some friends had decided to go for a swim in the early morning of March 26th, and he was then swept out to sea. The Coast Guard conducted a 15-hour search that day. Rockaway Beach is known to have dangerous currents even for experienced swimmers.
South Asian country of Sri Lanka. At least 207 people are dead and nearly 500 are wounded after a series of 8 Easter Sunday bomb blasts. 9 foreigners are reportedly among the dead. Sri Lanka's defense minister says 7 suspects have been arrested. The buildings attacked include churches and hotels in several cities. The first 6 explosions happened within a short period. Hospitals have been overwhelmed with casualties. As a precaution, Sri Lanka's government has declared a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew and blocked access to most major social media and messaging sites. The island nation has a history of violence involving Buddhists and Christians, but this is the worst violence since Sri Lanka's civil war ended a decade ago.
Pope Francis celebrated Easter Mass at the Vatican today, and later in a speech, he denounced the slaughter of Christians and foreigners in Sri Lanka. He referred to the attacks as, quote, cruel violence.
And closer to home, a convenience store clerk remains in the hospital this morning after police say he was the victim of a robbery and then a hit and run. The incident happened on Friday on Airport Boulevard near Chapman Avenue in South San Francisco. Police say the suspect allegedly stole from the store. The clerk tried stopping him. According to police, moments later, the suspect got in a white car and hit the store clerk before taking off. If you have any information, you're urged to call South San Francisco Police.
And neighbors are trying to raise money for the family of a mother and young child killed in a hit and run in Oakland. Yesterday, some of those neighbors washed cars at High Street and Foothill Boulevard, asking drivers to donate $20 each. Now, the woman and her 6-year-old son were hit by a car and killed on April 13th at a crosswalk at Foothill and 26th Avenue. Police say a black Mercedes hit them and the driver kept going. Volunteers hope to raise $5,000 to help the woman's husband and 2 other children with expenses.
I'm just really happy and grateful that the community came together and we had like people from all over, all kinds of walks of life come together to make this happen.
Authorities are still looking for the hit-and-run suspect. He's identified as Razanok Allen, and there's a $25,000 reward for information leading to his arrest.
New numbers from the State Employment Development Department show the 4 strongest job markets in the state are right here in the Bay Area. San Mateo County tops that list with a March unemployment rate of just 2.4%. That's followed by San Francisco, Marin, and Santa Clara counties, all with jobless rates under 3%. Officer and 3 suspects are being treated for injuries after a confrontation in South San Francisco. Police officers opened fire after a pickup carrying 3 commercial burglary suspects rammed 2 patrol cars, injuring an officer. The 3 suspects were arrested. None of those injuries is considered life-threatening.
Okay, turning things to weather. We've got a big warm-up coming our way by the middle of this week. Look at Wednesday. That'll be the peak. That's an 89-degree day forecast for inland locations. It'll be in the mid and upper 70s throughout the bay, and yes, in the low 70s at the coast. Okay, that's the warm-up for the middle of the week. You still have 1 day left of your weekend. It is not going to be as windy as yesterday. That's the good news. A little bit of a breeze today, but not like we had 50-mile-an-hour gusts at SFO yesterday. That doesn't happen today.
You know what I see? I see those 7 days, and I see lots of sun.
Yes,
Good.
that's the theme.
Very true. Thank you for joining us this morning.